Okay, we're gonna learn how to clean the mouth. Something so basic but so necessary. Let's go over a few different essential tools. Number one, we have our alcohol, the same stuff we go ahead and clean our skin with. I can use this sometimes if I want to clean out my mouth. Swish it around to sanitize the internal gum line. 2, baking soda. Aluminum free. This model we're using is the Red Mill. You can get that at most of the healthier food stores. We use this for the mouth as a neutral agent. This is alkaline and we're trying to get the acid out of the mouth. Wow, does that take it out. We want to clean it. We use food grade hydrogen peroxide. This is 3%. I would not recommend using anything stronger than that because the gums are very tender and the last thing you want to do is, well, lose your gums because these things oxidize everything. So use small quantities and you use small percentage of concentration, and this really works effective for cleaning your mouth. The Soleil salt, excellent sanitizer, excellent cleaner. Just this alone is really, really good with the baking soda. Peppermint, if you want to get a fresh taste in your mouth, you can use peppermint, mint, or spearmint. I like peppermint because it actually has a really good mentally vaporizing on the lymph system. Remember, you got a lot of pores and a lot of lymph, and I found out that peppermint really works good as a really good parasite repeller and bad breath repeller. Coconut oil, when we brush our teeth, we use this as a lubricant. So you're going to use that because a lot of this other stuff is really dry. You don't want to scrape your teeth or your gums. You can use this very hot 165,000 BTU or heat units, very hot. It's the hottest I've found on the market. You can use this also. Use about a 1/4 teaspoon and use it and clean your whole mouth out. Be careful though. Use a little bit because a little bit goes a long way. It's really, really hot but super cleansing. It's totally essential is this Smart Floss by Dr. Tongues. Okay, totally essential. You're going to go between each of the teeth and you're going to want to really clean the gum line. The gum line is where most people have no idea. That's where most of the disease comes into our body. It comes through cuts, and a lot of the cuts we have is in our mouth because we have a toxic mouth. Remember, all the mercury fillings, all the different things we have in our mouth from the dentist, we really need to clean those out. And if you do have any types of amalgam fillings, you need to go ahead and see too for yourself. Put in smoking fillings in Google. You'll want to get those out. I use a no fluoride based toothpaste. I don't really even use that much of a toothpaste, but once in a while I do because I just like to. About once every couple of weeks I use the paste, but pretty much I use everything else. This has a little bit of like a calcium carbonate, so it's a little bit of sanding on the teeth. Do it real light. Most importantly, this is my personal tongue scraper. I've had this thing for like 4 years, so they last forever. These things are like under $7 or something, and this is a magical tool because your tongue is your sensor organ, and if you can't taste, well, how do you think that you could really feel, taste, and really, you know you can close your nose and you can't taste anything? Well, the same goes for your tongue. If your tongue is plugged, you can't taste anything anyways. So we're going to show you how to use this. Let's get started. Very simple. We're not going to use the alcohol today, but we're going to use the hydrogen peroxide. And if you do use the alcohol, you just put it in for 10 or 15 seconds, swish it around, and you lightly brush. Remember, these things are very strong. You don't push hard on your gums ever. You don't want to wear them away. You're just trying to clean them, and you always want to do circular motions. None of this back and forth. You'll see circular this way and circular this way. So we have the hydrogen peroxide. We're going to use the Soleil salt. We're going to use a little coconut oil, a little peppermint. We're going to skip the cayenne, and we'll use a tooth scraper and a toothbrush. Okay, let's get started. This is very simple. We're going to do the simple way. Remember, you can use the alcohol. That's only to be used maybe once a week or once every 2 weeks, especially if you've got certain things you want to get out of your mouth. This really, really gets things out. But again, don't brush hard because the gums aren't made to be brushed hard. They're very sensitive. This does actually kill a lot of the microorganisms. Remember, one tooth could have more bacteria than all the population of the planet. One tooth. So you can see billions of things live in the mouth. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the sodium bicarbonate as an alkalizing agent. So what I do is I just put a little bit on my toothbrush. You do this a little better. I'm just pouring it on. But you do this and you put this in your mouth. And start brushing. Very simple. And I like to use just the sodium bicarbonate by itself because it's rough and it really cleans the teeth. And you're just lightly making circles. And once I get it through and through, I'm just going to do this a little quick here. I like using the Soleil salt because this really sanitizes your gums. So I put in 1, 2, And squish around. So we swish, same thing, lightly. Remember, we're brushing our teeth? No, we're brushing our gums. And I swish around. Then I use the hydrogen peroxide, okay? I'm just going to put 1 squirt in, that's it. This stuff is powerful. Watch out you don't get it in your eyes, very powerful. And immediately it starts to bubble. Then I start to and it's really salty but really cleansing at the same time. Now remember, I would have brushed about 30 seconds on each of those procedures, so I'm just doing this fast. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in some coconut oil. You can use coconut oil in the beginning too, because this is really good if you have sensitive gums. The coconut oil now is like a polishing agent, because now your gums are dry. You want to get oil back on them again. You ever heard of brushing your teeth with coconut oil? It really does help regenerate your gums. So the same thing, and what you do is swish that around, but I can't speak when I've got a mouthful. And then on the end, what you do is you just put a drop of peppermint in, and this really sanitizes. You can do this in the beginning if you like too, it doesn't matter. I just like doing it at the end. And I just put a drop in, and that's up. Swish it around. Now, the most important part of everything is this thing, and how you use this is very simple, okay? You don't push hard, you do it very easy. Remember, your tongue is a sensor organ. Without this, you really can't taste anything, so here we go. You stick your tongue out, and you want to go way back to the back of the tongue, and you're just going to pull it down, and you're going to scrape it. It's called a tongue scraper, just like a horse, scrape. When you want to get the water off a horse, they have these scrapers. This is for your tongue, and you just stick your tongue out. You can see this weird stuff comes off, and right now my mouth's pretty clean, but in the mornings you should see the stuff that comes off your mouth. And as soon as you do it, you say, wow, I can taste right now, and your mouth feels so fresh. And what you do is you do the side of the tongue, the back of the tongue, and if you go back too far, yeah, you'll maybe, get the gag reflex going, but this is how you do it. Very simple. You're all done. So that is a very simple way to be able to really clean your mouth. Now use the floss in between, and try to use the floss before you actually clean your teeth. And it's good to do it afterwards too, very slowly, and it takes a few minutes to do this. So that's a really simple way to be able to really terrain modify the gums and get the mouth in proper order. We'll see you next time.
Important reminder: all information and ideas are for informational purposes only and are in no way intended as medical advice or as a substitute for medical counseling. Earthshift Products, Dr. Robert Cassar, all of their partners, affiliates, and subsidiaries will not be held accountable for the use or misuse of the information presented therein. This information is not intended as medical advice. The authors, publishers, and speakers of this work are not medical doctors and do not recommend the use of mineral-deficient foods, drugs, or medicines to achieve beauty and to alleviate health challenges. Because there is always some risk involved, all persons involved with the development and distribution of this information are not responsible for any adverse effects or consequences of any kind resulting from the use or misuse of any suggestions or procedures described on our website or Earthshift Live radio talk show or therein.